Raquel Welch. You look like you're entered in the cheer whiteness test.
This dress is much whiter than dress B.
Remember those?
Actually, what?
Last time you came here, you had a miniskirt.
Yes.
I remember that was the end to all miniskirts, and tonight almost a complete turnabout.
Yes, that's not significant in any way.
It isn't at
No.
all? That's very pretty.
No, I just came from Dallas, and this was the dress I had with me for the premiere. And I really didn't know I was kind of going to do your show because I didn't know if I'd have time before I fled off to London. But I wouldn't leave the country again without saying goodbye to you.
I know you wouldn't. Every time she leaves the country, she comes back
goodbye
here.
to you.
Says goodbye to me. Lots of girls have left the country after saying goodbye to me.
And when I come back in, don't I always stop by and say hello and tell you what's going on?
I like dresses like that. I really do.
I do, too.
I think...
My husband likes it.
Does he?
Yes. He picked it out, actually. Well, you know what it was? When I went into the store, I bought it in Jackson in California, and it was a blouse. And I said, oh, it's such a beautiful blouse. It's too bad it's not a dress. And then I thought, well, I'm going to do this kind of a rally coming up. How about a long dress instead of just a short dress? That would be really marvelous.
That's very pretty.
So they made it long for me.
Did you hear the introduction I made of you? And
Yes,
Ed
I
said you
did.
wouldn't like it. And maybe you don't.
Well, I like sex, but I...
Well, they always put that symbol. They always put that symbol on somebody who becomes successful in pictures, the new sex goddess or sex symbol. Does it rankle you a little bit?
Not anymore. In the beginning, I used to get a little bit perturbed because it seemed to, I don't know, there seemed to be a stereotyped idea of what a sex symbol was, sort of vapid and not too bright and not with much ability or...
Doesn't hold true, really.
Well, I don't know if it does or not, but it's kind of, it makes you feel that you're limited in some way, and so you kind of fight against it, but I don't think that you can really fight against an image. It's something that you can't control, don't you think?
I've tried to control mine, you know. You said once, I think, and when we talked together, that you didn't want to start to be known just as, you know, doing layouts, because you were in Playboy once.
Doing which?
Yeah, you know, doing pictures with, doing what? What was that? I missed that. I'm not thinking well tonight. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yes,
That you didn't want to be
yes.
just known for removing your, divesting yourself of your garments.
Well, actually, I never have done a
That's very
nude,
nice.
and I sort of have made a statement, I guess, in the beginning of my career that I wasn't particularly interested in doing Playboy. I think they have enough candidates to fill the book each month, and I don't see why I have to join the ranks. I don't think that it's sort of a necessary thing.
No.
And I mean, if I'm already sort of accepted as a glamorous type or a sex symbol, or that is the image that's grown around me, it seems like almost gilding the lily, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't need it anyway. Hey, this latest picture, Bandolero, isn't it? Jimmy Stewart's in this, isn't he?
Oh, yes, yes. And Dean Martin, and George Kennedy, and Andy McLaglen directed it. And, you know, he was on the show that he said to say hello to
Andy
you.
McLaglen was the director who directed our fight scene. We did a fight scene on the coast last time we were in California with Doug McClure, Jim Drury, and a couple of stuntmen, and I think McLaglen did that.
Yes. He said to say hello, and he was sorry about the cuts and bruises.
I didn't get him. The stuntman got one that night during that fight.
Well, he's so used to working with John Wayne, I think he forgets, you know, the indestructible, that he thinks the real wall goes down when you go bam.
How are you when you go out with crowds? Do they bother you?
Well, a little bit.
Are you a loner, or do you like to get out and meet the people, or what?
Well, I'm a bit intimidated by large crowds of people who seem to be sort of closing in around, but you're paranoid at a certain point in your career when it seems to be coming to a very high pitch, and then you sort of balance off and you accept it. I know when we were doing Bandolero down in Texas, we had about 1,500 people on the set every day, and I got very sort of removed, and I'd stay in my trailer. And then one day Jimmy Stewart came by, and he's such a gracious man, and he was always so wonderful, and so was Dean. And he said, you know, well, Raquel, dear, those people out there, they think we're magic, and
You
we really
not
must go out and sing hello. Yes.
He's a great
And
guy.
he was so wonderful, and I said, well, you're right. I have to go out because they've all come a long way. They came from all over Texas just to say hello or maybe have an autograph signed. And he said, you really ought to be flattered by this, and I am now.
Yeah, you ought to be. Somebody says you're heading for London. Are you going right into another picture already?
Yes, I'm going to do a film called 100 Rifles in Spain with Jim Brown. And I'm looking forward to working with him.
Yeah.
He's quite a fantastic man.
Yes, he is.